So what we're going to talk about now is hand position. I talked a little bit about that before, but these sticks are a wonderful tool for you to see what the angle of your hands does to the rest of the joints in your upper body. So if we're talking about using our sticks correctly, I want her hands to bring those sticks to this nice apex point, kind of like a teepee or an angle point, so that she's got this beautiful allowing in her wrist, her elbow, and her shoulder. So if we are, you can get your barrel moving for me. If we are moving here, and place your pinkies on your pommel. If we've got those two sticks at that point, it's very easy for Suzanne to move and allow and follow with her horse, correct? Yes. Okay. So if you put those sticks at a vertical point for me, see how you had to force it just very slightly. Mm-hmm. Now you were following beautifully before, but now it's that rowing motion, exactly, and your body started pumping. It got a little tricky. So put them horizontally for me, just straight out across. Yep. So elbows came out, we got some chicken wings going on, we started really over rowing with our body, so bring it back to that happy point. Bring your elbows in just a little bit. There you go. So easier, you don't feel like you're straining any of the muscles in your body. So a big thing to think about is that if we have our elbows, relatively tucked in by our sides, we're using the stronger parts of our body to, if an emergency situation, to apply pressure. You're using your biceps and rather than your forearms for it. So sometimes we get the chicken wingers where they're applying all the pressure on the outsides of their arm. So allowing your body to work more biomechanically for yourself, really, really important. Okay, so let's try a transition down to halt for me. Now, did you feel that same sort of close in your elbow that you did your hip flexors when you transitioned?
Yes.
Good. So everything should work together. So if our elbows are following, our hip is following. If our hip is closed, our elbows are closed. So that's a good way to think about it, is that every part of your body works together in the same stride. Okay? So I'm going to take your sticks from you. Oops, sorry. Okay. So you know about half halts.
Yes.
Yeah. So a lot of people come and talk to me about how half halts are so confusing, and a lot of times you can boil it down to breaking down the word. So a half halt is half of a halt. And all we're doing in a half halt is rebalancing our horses. So it's in preparation for a transition, whether it be trot to canter or canter to trot, you're rebalancing your horse so you can help them. So we're going to start practicing our half halts on this.
Okay.
So all you're going to do is pause and stabilize that hip for just one stride. Now that's very tricky because we want to do it for more than one stride. But if you're doing a proper half halt, one stride and you go back to following. Okay? So let's get our barrel moving. Okay, pinkies down for me. And now we're going to practice a one-strided half halt. So all you're going to do is stabilize your hip and then go back to following. And I want to see a dramatic change in this without it halting. Okay? So, good. So that was like a stride and a half. Yeah.
There you go. That was 2 strides.
That was 2 strides. So learning your horse's stride length is really important, and practicing your half halts regardless of your talent level is really important because it gives you an awareness of your seat. So half halt for me. Very nice, but do you feel that wiggle in your upper body? So that half halt has to come through from our seat. Good. So yeah. This is a lot harder than it seems. So she's doing so beautifully at this. Good. Half halt for me. Good. So those are coming through a little bit easier. Good. That little bit of a stabilization in our head. Yeah. There you go. Okay, you can transition to halt.